How did your son die?
He was shot. My son was shot April 4th, 1993, while with some friends. Supposedly friends that he knew for a long time. He was coming out of a grocery store, or rather, he went into a grocery store because he had just moved into an apartment of his own. In fact, he asked me for help, so I helped him with his deposit. And his friends went over to help him get all the stuff into his apartment. And they got tired, so they got hungry, so they went to the store, which was around the corner from his apartment. And in that store were members of another gang. My son was not in the gang. He was just had friends that his friends that he was with. But soon trouble started, and they left. One of them went back in, said, thinking, "Oh, macho, that he's not going to be run out." Well, he comes. No sooner had he gone in than he starts coming run out. He's running out. My son was already across the street, and the gang member that was running after him shot. But at the time that he shot, that individual ducked, and my son was right in his line of fire. So my son took a bullet right in the middle of his chest, in the aorta. And once you puncture that aorta, anything short of the hand of God can't stop you from dying. He bled out.
How did you feel when your son wanted to follow in your footsteps?
Well, my son had always, in fact, he had I've been in the military 40 years now, 40. And my son got into ROTC because he wanted to follow in my footsteps. It would have been proud. I would have been very proud for him to have followed, carried the Hawaii name into the military history. But unfortunately, his life got cut short, and unless I remarry and have other children, my bloodline stops here.
How has your child no longer being here in the world impacted you?
It's like I'm living outside my body. A day doesn't go by that I don't cry for. I try to be man about it because men are supposed to cry. But it's just one thing. I will bring the strongest man to his knees.
He was a son by a privileged marriage. And the woman that raised him, my ex-wife, I know it hurts him. She might not have given birth to him, but she raised him. Taught him how to tie his shoes, taught him his numbers, his alphabet, taught him what a mother would do. So I know she's hurting too. So it's impacting me because that was my flesh and blood. And there's no greater pain that any human being can feel than lowering one of your children into the ground. So I'm in constant pain every day.
How long did it take for the hurt to stop?
The hurt hasn't stopped. You learn to live with the pain. But the hurt never stops. At least in my case. I've never stopped hurting.
Do you wish you could change the past?
Like what?
Do you wish you could change the past?
Yes, I wish I could. I wish. And he was shot when I was on military duty. Sometimes you try and think about what if this, what if that, what if I had done this, what if I had done that. But no one knows exactly when they're going to pass away. Only God knows. And his number came up, you know. And I always say I wish I could have. I did all I could. I wish I could have been a better father, taught him better, choose his friends more carefully. That's how he was shot, because he was with the wrong friend. And then they left him, when he got shot, they left him there. They ran in the middle of the street. So what kinds of friends are those?
Do you think he's in a better place?
Yes, I think he's in a far better place. At least there's a lot of stuff that I mean, of course, when he was dead, of course, I want his killers brought to justice. For a long time, I lived for the day that I could deposit their bodies before their father and see how they feel. But I know that's wrong. Killing them is not going to bring my son back. So, like I said, but I leave it all. Now I've learned to, like I said, I learned to live with the pain. But I no longer want to kill them. But I wouldn't shed a tear if I find out that they were dead.
How have you been doing ever since your son died?
Well, my son's death impacted my family life because the way I was angry at the world. How could this have happened to me? How could this have taken my son away? And my ex-wife says that after his death, I was taking it out on them. And I know I put her through a lot of pain, a lot of tears. And I know I put my daughters through a lot of pain, a lot of tears. But I couldn't see it. So, like I said, all I can do now, live with the pain, be there for them when they need me. Maybe that's why I'm overprotective of my girls. Because they already took one child from me, and I will not let them take another one, or my grandchildren.
What happened to your offender?
To my what?
To your offender, to the person who killed your son.
To my knowledge, they have never been caught. In fact, like I said, and in my quest for revenge, to find out who killed him, I turned to drug dealing to raise money, to offer a reward for information to his murderer. And in doing that, I now realize that I was making other people victim of my pain. And I feel deeply embarrassed, deeply ashamed, because I have always warned against drug use. But I guess in my pain and my quest, thirst for revenge, I lost my morals, I lost my principles. Eventually I was caught, served time, went to rehab, where I got my thinking straight. And now they taught me how to deal with the temptation of not use, because I never used them, of getting involved in the drug trade. So, like in essence, in making me a victim, they also made other people victims. So it has to stop. So now, every time that I see a young man or young woman getting high or stuff, I always preach to them about the dangers of drug use, because I have been there and I've done that. And I don't want anybody else to continue to be a victim.
How do you feel knowing that your son's killer never got caught?
It makes me angry at the system, because I'm not rich, I'm not a politician, I'm not in the limelight. So it's my personal belief that it's just another Mexican out of the way. You know, I'm not Cisneros, I'm not Tejeda, I'm not anybody important, so they just chalk it off. But if I would have had money, I would have been a millionaire important. I would have thought that they would have caught his killers.
What has been the hardest thing for you?
The hardest thing, losing my family. Because after his death, I mean, like I said, mentioned before, I lost it. And that I was making them the victims too. Now I'm by myself. My ex-wife is living with another individual, and it hurts me when I see her with him. But and in doing so, I was a victim of my own doing. because I didn't see being a victim made me blind, made me want to get revenge. And I couldn't think of anything else. It consumed me. I lived for it 24 hours a day, and in doing so, I neglected my family, neglected my wife at the time. So consequently, we had to part ways.
What do you think needs to happen to make things right for you?
I think what needs to happen is that they need to have stricter juvenile laws. And it's just like the Pledge of Allegiance says, justice for all. But in my opinion, there is no justice for all. There's justice for those that can afford it. I couldn't afford to hire a high-priced lawyer to prosecute them, so consequently, these killers went unpunished. And they refuse to look into it anymore. So think about what you're doing. Think about not only because you're going to be a victim, because if you have a conscience, it's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
My name is Master Sergeant Juan Uvalle.
And I want to introduce you to my son, George. He's laying there 6 feet under, a victim of a shooting on April 4th, 1993. His murderers, in shooting him, not only made him a victim, but made his whole family a victim. I've been a victim of the pain of losing him for the last 18 years. I have to live with this pain, day by day, night by night. Have you noticed, I can't bring myself to put a headstone on him. I know he's down there, but psychologically, I can't accept it. But I know he's there. I hope the people that murdered him think about what they did, how they made me a victim, how they made his whole family a victim. I will never see any grandchildren from him. He was my only son. My bloodline stops right here. Y'all need to stop and think. Now that, while you're still young, think about who it's affecting and what you do. God gave us a brain to make choices. You choose to do good, you choose to do bad. You reap the rewards of a good decision, you suffer the consequences of a bad decision. These murderers think that they got away with it. They might have gotten away with it here legally. But like the Bible says, when they come up before judgment, this is going to come up. Now, I implore you, if you have gone into trouble, seek counseling, get away from bad influences. I don't want to have to know your parents stand over your grave like I'm standing over my son's grave. Please, turn your life around while you have time. Life is short. You don't know from one day to the next where you're going to make it to the end of the day. Don't take life for granted. Don't take your freedom for granted. Please, get help. If you're having trouble, there's all kinds of help available to you. Thank you.